Welcome to Women's Sports Weekly, where women's sports happen every day, but we talk about it once a week. I'm Carolyn.
And I'm Danielle. Women's Sports Weekly is a podcast where we discuss the latest news, explore interesting stories, and share our love for women's sports. Follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok at Women's Sports Weekly Pod. Follow us and rate us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Send us an email at womensportsweeklypod@gmail.com, and we may feature your email on The Les. The Les is a segment.
We have to clarify again. The Les is our listener experience zone, and it's not a place, although we are thinking that we might call our basement the Les.
We should. And we got feedback from our run club friends that they were confused as to what the Les really was.
And half get it, half understand. And then the other half are like, is the Les a place? Is it somewhere we can go?
I got a kick out of that. It is a segment on our podcast. So if you write in, email, DM, want us to talk about something, have any questions, we can cover it in that segment.
Yeah, like we do a highlight reel for the week. We do a deep dive. These are all segments of the podcast. And when we have a good question that comes in and it's timely, we do the Les, which is our listener experience zone segment where we cover the question and answer it. So let's just get that straight. Well, let's just get that gay, I guess.
Yeah, we don't do straight in this house.
We also were joking that maybe the basement would be the Les, and we are getting close in the basement. Our listener experience zone, our lesbian experience zone, the basement, it is getting close to being done. Oh. Lesbian experience zone sounds like it's some kind of sex dungeon or something. No. It is not. Not yet, anyway.
But speaking of our basement, we are getting so close. We can see the light at the end of the tunnel. We have not done work down there in quite a bit because we've been traveling so much. And when we weren't traveling, we were traveling like every other week. And then in between weeks, we were like, we just can't. We're just too tired and need to be social and not do that. But this weekend, we took a stab at the floors and you were worried. I was a little worried too because I'm so burnt out with the basement. And you have some friends who are telling you that we shouldn't do it together.
Yeah, my boss was like, don't do it. Don't do it.
And I'm like, Carolyn, if we framed out our basement, surely we can put down floors. Like, I think we'll be okay.
And we were. It's work and it's annoying, but it was not like framing where things didn't make sense because it's vinyl plank floors, like they connect together. I was like, okay, I could do this. I don't mind doing tedious work. It's when things don't make sense that like both of us lose our minds a little bit.
Yeah, but it's looking so good down there. I am just so excited to hang out down there when it's all said and done.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be so nice. I love the floor we picked out is like a lighter, it's vinyl plank, but it looks like lighter wood. Yeah. And I just love how it makes the basement bright because when we painted it, we also did more of a neutral off-white color, and just seeing it all come together is making me so happy.
I know. I can't believe we're getting close. We'll have to post a picture on our Instagram when it's all done and trimmed out, but we are so close.
We are. And it was a lot of hard work over the past however many months we've been working on this. I was looking back at pictures of what the basement used to be, and I was like, you wouldn't even recognize it.
No.
If you showed those old pictures to someone, they wouldn't even be able to tell it's the same basement.
Correct. And even putting the floor in, the floor was just concrete floor that was painted red. You said whoever did that has a mental health issue.
I said whoever painted the floor reds needs serious therapy. And I go to therapy and you go to therapy, so I'm not saying anything negative about therapy, but red floors, like, you need some help.
And so putting the vinyl plank in, it's like, oh my gosh, it just looks so much more finished now.
Yeah. Oh, it's just making me so happy.
I know. We're almost there. We are almost there.
Cannot wait to put a big old TV down there to watch all the sports. Maybe get some surround sound. We're going to get some. Oh, it's going to be great.
We'll eventually start recording the podcast down there. We need to get more furniture and stuff down there because even if it's done, we need it to be furnished. Or if we try to record the podcast, it'll be too echoey. So it might take a little bit of time for us to physically move down there, but it's coming.
It is. And I want to get some sound boards on the ceiling.
Yeah,
because it is an exposed ceiling.
Yeah, make it feel more like a studio.
Ooh.
Studio/entertainment center/
The Les.
The Les.
/ workout space.
Yes, it's going to fill all of those things. We cannot wait. All right, let's get into the highlight reel, which is another segment that we do here on the podcast. The WNBA draft happened 2 Mondays ago, and we recorded before that. So let's get into it and talk about it now.
Yeah, so much has happened. I thought the WNBA draft was so fun this year. I really enjoyed watching it. I've enjoyed watching it every year, but it is fun to see each year just get bigger. And obviously, the players are getting paid so much more now. Azzi Fudd, first draft pick, got $500,000, whereas last year with Paige, what was it, like 75,000, something crazy like that?
You are so close. Did you see these notes?
No.
Okay. Wow. I'm really impressed. So Azzi Fudd, you were right. Rookie salary $500,000. Paige Becker's last year $78,000.
Okay, so that's a huge difference. Over 5 times, right?
Okay, you can't ask me to do math on top of it. I don't know what 78 times 5 is.
Well, what's 100 times 5? 500,000. So over 5 times.
Oh, you're right.
I know. Wow. I swear we're smart, but I don't know. Doing math
Not
on the
with
spot
math.
is
No.
a little tricky.
Not with math.
I kind of dove right in there because I got excited. But let's dive into more of the logistics of the draft.
Yeah, and Kathy Engelbert said this is her favorite night of the year. And I agree with her. I agree with the commissioner on this one. She was also in a green dress, which people were hating on, and they were calling it the green dildo that was thrown onto the court.
Inspired by the green dildo.
Okay, somehow this podcast is not appropriate. This episode. I actually like the green dress and I thought it fit her really well. And in the past, sometimes I think her style choices are interesting. So I thought it was a nice choice.
And it went along with a lot of the players. There were so many sequins and sparkles this year, and hers was sparkly and sequiny. So I don't know, just felt like it fit the vibe overall.
Yeah, we'll talk more about the fashion, but let's get into the picks. So as you mentioned, Azzi Fudd was the first overall pick. She went to the Dallas Wings. And then Olivia Miles was the second pick, and she headed to the Minnesota Lynx. What a pickup for the Minnesota Lynx. And the fact that they got the 2 seed is just ridiculous to me.
Yeah, both those picks, first 2, I think it could have went either way. Down to the very last second, you were like, who is it going to be? Who do you think? And we were guessing. I was like, I really don't know, because it could have been either of them. And then it could have been Awa Pham, that I haven't personally seen play, but I know people were speculating that she could go first. But I was very happy for Azzi Fudd and Olivia going 1 and 2. And I think both of them could have went 1 easily.
Yeah. And the third pick is where we see Spain's Awa Pham Thiam, who went to the Seattle Storm. And in the number 4 spot was Lauren Betts, who heads to the Washington Mystics. And the Washington Mystics are just going to be this young team.
I think it's going to be fun because they still have Kiki Iriafen. And then you have Sonia Citron, and Sonia and Kiki are such good friends. And I feel like Lauren Betts will fit right into that team. I think it'll be fun for her. And Washington, D.C. is not a bad place, but she spent all her life in California. So it is going to be a huge adjustment going all the way to the opposite coast.
Yeah, where the weather is sometimes suspect. And yeah.
It's gonna be rough.
But she also has Michaela Onyenwere, who is now with the Mystics.
I love how she said, I'm still going to call her coach just to get on her nerves.
And so, yes, Michaela Onyenwere, who coached with UCLA this year, is also playing for the Washington Mystics. So that has to be nice to have familiar faces there. And on top of that, Angela Dugalich went in the 9 spot to the Mystics. So some familiar faces. I hope that she fits in well there. I think she will.
Absolutely. And then you were a little surprised by the 5 pick, just that she went over other people. We both think Gabrielle Jaquez is a great player, but you were surprised that maybe Flau'jae wasn't picked over her. But I always say teams decide what dynamic, what kind of player they need, and it doesn't always go, I don't think, in best to whatever. I think it goes off of what a team is looking for. But Gabrielle Jaquez goes to the Chicago Sky in the number 5 spot.
I was surprised by this one. I personally would have picked Flau'jae Johnson or Kiki Rice. I think this is an interesting pick. Like you said, I love Gabriella Jaquez. I think there was some recency bias. She had an amazing championship game and then they went and picked her. But I don't know. I'll say it. Maybe she'll prove me wrong, but that would not be my 5 pick.
But you know how we asked Rebecca Lobo, and Ryan and Rebecca like to speculate who's going to be a really good player in the W who might not have been all-star standout in college? Maybe she's one of those people and they see something that we don't.
Yeah, apparently they do, because they chose her in the number 5 spot. Kiki Rice was taken in the number 6 spot to the Toronto Tempo, which Toronto is officially my favorite Canadian team.
Wow, are we going to go?
Are they the only Canadian team? Yes.
Are we going to go?
I really want to go.
I know you do.
I just think the players that they're pulling together is just going to be really interesting. And on top of that, Sandy Brondello is the head coach. They're making it to the playoffs this year.
Side note, we already talked about this last week, how they picked up Marina Mabrey in the expansion draft. After our episode last week, they also signed Marina's sister, Dara Mabrey, on a training camp contract. So shout out to the Mabrey sisters.
Just killing it.
Yeah.
Flau'jae Johnson was drafted 8th overall to the Valkyries and then in less than an hour traded to the Seattle Storm. The GM for the Valkyries said that Seattle and the Valkyries already had an agreement to trade picks prior to the athlete selection.
Interesting.
So how it's being described now is that Seattle instructed Golden State to pick Flau'jae, and then later at the number 16 spot, Golden State instructed Seattle to select Marta Suarez from TCU. In exchange for Flau'jae Johnson, the Valkyries also acquired a 2028 second round selection. I think that Flau'jae would probably like to be in the Bay more than Seattle. I think it fits her personality more. However, I think this is a huge pickup for Seattle.
Yeah, especially because their whole roster up and left. So I think it will be a good opportunity for her to play a lot and stand out and see what she can do in her first year.
Exactly. She's going to be needed. So that will be very interesting to see. As we mentioned, Angela Dugalich from UCLA went in the 9 spot to the Mystics. And then in the 10 spot, Raven Johnson was selected to the Indiana Fever.
I just don't understand how all the Gamecocks end up at the Indiana Fever.
It's really funny.
It is interesting. And there's been a lot of talk about how yada yada, Caitlin Clark waved her off and all this stuff. And it's like, can we just... Come on, Raven has come back from that. Let this be her moment. Let it be Raven's moment. And I just hope she does really well in training camp. And I hope she does good in the W as well.
Agreed. And when I was talking about recency bias before, I've been thinking in my head a lot of what would have happened if the Gamecocks killed UCLA in the championship. Like, what if the game was reversed? How much would that have impacted this draft order? I wonder.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the GMs and these teams are watching all year, and yeah, I think definitely the tournament has something to do with it because you're looking at who is a competitor in big moments. But yeah, it could go either way, I think.
And then Gianna Neepkins from UCLA was drafted by the Connecticut Sun in the 15th and final pick of the first round. I mention this because UCLA became the first team to have 5 first-round selections, and the first with 6 players selected in one draft. Charlize Ledger-Walker was selected by the Sun in the second round. So all 6 of their seniors were drafted into the WNBA. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and prior to this, the record was 5, and that had been done more than once. So this is the first time, to your point, that 6 from one team was drafted. Very cool for them.
All right, let's get into my favorite part, the fashion.
Yeah, tell us what your thoughts were.
I loved Azzi Fudd's second dress. Yeah. I liked her first dress too. I'll get into this more, but overall, I thought that the looks in general were a little boring. There was a lot of black.
And a lot of sparkles.
A lot of sparkles and a lot of blazers. But I did love some of the blazers. But Azzi Fudd's second dress, the one she got drafted in, it was like orange and brown and glittery. I thought it was beautiful, fit her beautifully. Mm-hmm. I just thought she looked so incredible that night. Great pick.
Yep.
I also think Flau'jae Johnson was one of the best dressed of the night. She had on a custom black velvet bodysuit and then this mermaid silhouette skirt. She had some fur draped around her. She just looked so old-fashioned Hollywood, sleek hair. Mm-hmm. It was just really, really good. So like I mentioned, I did see a lot of black. I thought Lauren Betts looked great. Her makeup, hair, her dress fit amazing. But I was like, I just thought you could have done more. And I get it. If it were me, I would have picked something classic as well, because I could imagine that it's very nerve-wracking. You play basketball your whole life. You're very good at that. And then it's like, and also be a fashion icon.
And they're being sponsored by different brands. Yes. So I doubt they have so many options. They're probably picking out of a somewhat short selection. So that I think also plays into it. And I feel like there was a theme and they had to stick with that theme based on who they were sponsored by. That's the feeling I was getting.
Lauren Betts, I believe, was in Coach. I really like Cody McMahon's outfit. It was this buttoned up burgundy blazer with white pinstripes. Her tie also had pinstripes on it. And then she was wearing this mini skirt that matched the blazer up top. She had these leather gloves on her hands, and then she had the white socks with the heels, which is always a cool fashion choice. Her body was just like out of this world in it. I thought it was really, really good. I also liked Marta Suarez from TCU. She was in a red suit. It was this low cut blazer with trousers, and she had this thick black belt on. And she also had a hand painted bag with all the draftee signatures on it, which I thought was really sweet. I thought her hair and makeup also looked great.
And then someone I kept saying to you, I really liked their entire look, was Raven Johnson. She was in a blazer style dress, which was stitched together by various patterns and fabrics. It also included tiny white stars and pinstripes, and her hair looks so cute as well. I just loved her whole look that night. Thought she looked great. It's just fun to see people outside their basketball uniform and show off their style.
The best dress of the whole night, besides Flau'jae probably, I thought it was someone who didn't get drafted. She plays for UConn, KK Arnold. I loved her outfit. She will be a senior next year for UConn. She was there supporting Azzi. She was also in head-to-toe burgundy, but she had this coat on that I thought fit her incredibly. Then she had a satin necktie and these balloon pants. Everything underneath the coat, and even the coat, was like so tailored to perfection. And I think her style is just really, really good. So I can't wait until the draft next year to see what she pulls out. I thought she looked awesome. The draft averaged 1.5 million viewers, making it the second most watched draft on record. And you mentioned the CBA impact. Azzi walks out with $500,000 in her first year. And then the average first year salary for first round picks last year was $75,000, while the average first year salary for first picks this year is $386,000.
We love to see it. So that rounds out our discussion on the drafts. It just makes me so excited for the WNBA season, which is right around the corner. Really excited for games to start happening and just to see who's going to come out on top, who's going to be teams to watch. And we could get into that more as we get closer to the season, but I'm pumped.
For sure. Let's get into some more sad news.
A low light of the week.
Bird and Megan Rapinoe announced last Friday on social media that they are no longer in a relationship.
When I saw this, I was like, is this April 1st? Like, what's happening? This cannot be real.
It sent gay social media into a frenzy.
Absolutely, because they're just like icons to so many people, and for them to be in a relationship together and the way they let people in on social media or on their podcast. And I was a religious listener of their podcast, and this is just really, really sad. They were together for 10 years.
We're not going to get into why we think they broke up or any of that stuff. That's their own personal business. But
and we know nothing. So.
And we actually know nothing. But I think the cultural impact that it's had, I think they were, for me, the lesbian power couple that I could look up to. And that representation matters so much. Some people on social media were saying it felt like their parents were getting divorced. And I think for me, I'm even thinking about my interaction with my mom when I came out. Like, she had so many questions of like, okay, so what does that mean? What's this going to look like? And to have a couple like Megan and Sue to point to be like, look at them.
Yeah.
They're okay. They figured it out. They're two super successful people, and their sexuality doesn't take away from their accomplishments, and it actually makes them more interesting.
Yeah. And also for me, I think it also hit home because they came out together in a relationship basically at the same time or right after we started dating. I feel like I look at relationships like that as untouchable. They'll never break up. Like, they are good. And then when you realize they're not good, it's like, am I good? Am I okay?
Yep.
And you were like, Danielle, why? What is happening? This is not a reflection of us. I was like, for some reason, this just hit me so deeply.
It does, though, make you think, right? It's like, oh my gosh, okay, we've been together for what, like a year longer than they have. And it's like, hold on, they're breaking up and they seem to be two well-rounded people. Again, we know nothing. And it's like, what does that mean for us? And it's interesting that we do that, but I think we do that because we're scared, right?
Yeah. And you were like, Danielle, we know nothing about their personal life aside from what they share on socials. This is nothing to do with us. I was like, I know, but I'm sad.
And I think as just humans, we want people to stay together. We're like conditioned to really want people to stay together until one of them dies.
Oh, yeah.
But that's what we expect, right? And that's what we want for our relationship, which is crazy to say, but that's what we want.
Obviously.
Yeah.
And I want to die together in our sleep at 115 years old.
Oh my gosh, 115. With Scout with us. She'll be, how old would she be?
Yeah, Scout, listen up.
She'll be 60 years old.
We can make it work.
My initial reaction, which is horrible, is I was like, is Together looking for...
Oh my God.
Are they looking for a gay couple to host their women's sports podcast? Because I know two people who already have done that for over 2 years.
We're right here. We actually started before Megan and Sue.
And we're still together, but I'm going to knock on all the wood. I do not want to jinx us.
And in all seriousness, we do love Megan and Sue, and we do feel horrible, and hopefully they're both okay. And yeah, it just sucks.
Yeah. We're talking about the cultural impact, but breakups are not fun.
No,
personally.
Even if we did this mutually, and if that's true, you still had a whole life together built on all these years. Like, it sucks.
For sure. Can you think about after a breakup, like the worst feeling you've ever had?
I don't know. I always broke up with other people.
You're like, no, the breakups were great. I was the one driving them.
I always felt bad, but I was like, I'm good. This isn't working out for me. Gee, I wonder why. Everyone's like, why? They were so nice. I'm like, you'll find out eventually.
I'll find out eventually. You'll find out eventually.
I think it's easier too. I never lived with a person. I think that would be a lot more difficult. But what about you?
The hardest breakup I had was with my girlfriend from college, just because she was like the first person I loved. And I think I broke up with her, but it wasn't my choice. Like it was kind of like there was no other option. And yeah, it wrecked me. I heard once it takes half as long as you were together for you to start feeling normal again.
That makes sense.
So if you think about Sue and Megan, 5 years is when that's not scientifically proven at all. But in my experience, I think my girlfriend and I in college were together for 2 years and I had a rough year.
Yeah. And that makes sense, especially being in college, all the hormones, and just feel like that's a tough time, like early 20s, even pre-20s.
Yeah.
There's a lot happening in that time of your life. And to go through a breakup during that time, that's tough.
Yeah. So best wishes to them. They'll be okay.
They will be. They will be.
They are fully formed adults who I'm sure have some access to some good therapy, and I hope they just take care of themselves.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's get into some updates.
Yes, let's start with Run Club. We have Run Club this Thursday and every Thursday at the 99ers Sports Bar here in Denver at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. We meet up, run 3 miles together, and then we have some drinks, laughs, combos, and we meet some great friends along the way. So I hope you will join us. Each week we have a secret word. If you share the secret word with the bartenders after our run, you will receive 50% off your first draft. The secret word this week is
Power couple?
Power couple. Okay, so we hope to see you there.
We also need to take this time to ask you to please rate and subscribe to our podcast. We create, produce, and edit the podcast ourselves. So if you want to support us, rate, subscribe, give us a positive review, and share this podcast with someone you love. Thank you to everyone who has rated the podcast so far. If you send us a screenshot of your 5-star rating, we will send you a Women's Sports Weekly sticker for your emotional support bottle for free.
And with that, let's get into the deep dive for this week. This is a fun one. This was our first time doing media for soccer, right? Mm-hmm. I don't think we've ever done a soccer game before for media. And for it to be the U.S. Women's National Team, I thought I had my shit together. I was like, okay, we've done media before. We're good. No, still don't have it together. Still not cool. When you see big stars like that, it just hits different. Like the first time we ever did Unrivaled, I was shaking like a leaf talking to Katie Lou Samuelson. I got better throughout the day, but this was similar. I wasn't shaking, but I was still starstruck. Oh my God. I've been watching these players for years and now I'm 2 feet away from them. So we'll talk about the game first, but that was my initial whoa.
Yeah, we still had some imposter syndrome. This was also my first U.S. Women's National Team game that I've ever been to.
I think same.
Yeah. We had gone to the U.S. Women's National Team tailgate the last time they came to Denver, and we thought we were going to get tickets last minute, but we just ended up tailgating the whole time and not actually going into the game. I'm so happy we went to the game this time.
Absolutely.
The U.S. won this match 3-0. As a reminder, this was their third and final match against Japan. They beat Japan the first time they played them 2-1, and then Japan took the second match 1-0. And then, like I said, in this final match against Japan, the U.S. Women's National Team won 3-0. It was scoreless in the first half.
Watching the first half, I was like, the U.S. are going to score. They have so many shots on goal. The Japan goalie was playing unbelievable. She stopped so many close goals.
And like they just rockets. Rockets to her.
They just got unlucky on some of them, but I was like, they're going to score. Like, they have control over this match. And they lost the match before, but I was like, no, they got this. But it was 0-0, as Emma Hayes says, after the first half.
So the second half starts, and 155 seconds into the second half, Naomi Girma scores off a corner kick. I missed this because...
Oh my gosh. So this was right after halftime. Mind you, it's been so warm in Denver for months now. And when the U.S. Women's National Team comes, it decides to snow and be freezing. And I'm
Yep.
like, great. So we went inside at halftime because we were freezing.
We were inside the press box. So we had
Yes.
press for this. We went inside to the press area, which was nice. They had the little seating area.
And you decided to go to the bathroom right as the second half starting. I heard cheers outside. It wasn't a goal yet. And I was like, you know what? I can't wait for Carolyn because if I miss a goal, I'm going to be so pissed. I go out literally like 30 seconds later. That's when Naomi Girma scored and I lost my shit. And I felt sick to my stomach that you missed the goal because I was like, what if this is the only goal of the game? Carolyn just missed it.
But I was with a top defender for the U.S. Women's National Team. Me and Becky Sauerbrunn were in the bathroom together and I was complimenting her boots.
Oh my gosh. And she's retired now. She's a former player. And you were like, oh, but I was just talking to Becky Sauerbrunn. Like you weren't even upset because you were just like, I just told her I really liked her boots.
Also, she looked so good. Her hair was like flawless. I was like, you just had a baby and you just look so incredible. I loved her outfit. Ugh. But anyway, I did miss the first goal. You trade one defender for the other. Naomi Girma scores. And then less than 10 minutes later, in the 56th minute, midfielder Rose Lavelle scores. This is her 10th goal in her last 10 appearances.
Wow.
And she got a breakaway. And
That was a sick pass, sick goal. That was a masterpiece all around.
it was a masterpiece because she had the ball for a long time. And it was like you could really get in your head and boink it. But she didn't.
No,
she buried
it was first class.
And then defender Kennedy Wesley scored the third goal in the 63rd minute, also off a corner kick. 2 of the 3 goals scored by the U.S. came off corner kick set pieces, which was pretty cool. This was Kennedy Wesley's 6th cap, and it was her first international career goal. She also had her first international assist on Naomi Girma's goal. And then for the second goal, it was her interception of the ball that started the counterattack by Trinity Rodman and Rose Lavelle.
Yeah, it was really cool to see her score her first international goal. Also, when we were interviewing players after the game, a lot of other press that were there were asking the other players about her first goal. And the players were just so happy for her. They just say how positive she is, how hard she works. And it's just cool to see people get their first goal. Like, that's a huge accomplishment. And hats off once again to Emma Hayes, who gives people these opportunities in these games. Because if you just play the same 11 people over and over and over again, one, you're not building the experience of the other players and they're not getting opportunities to get these goals, assists and things like that and build their confidence.
Exactly.
But overall, just really cool to see the different players compliment her in their interviews.
For this game, there was a crowd of 17,589 people, which was really amazing considering the snow that happened earlier in the day and just like the overall cold of the day. And the capacity at Dick's Sporting Goods Park is 18,000, so it was almost a sellout. And I was really proud of Denver because I was worried when we were going there. I was like, people might not show up. It's kind of shitty out, but they showed up and it was a great game.
People were in their snowsuits, even though it stopped snowing, but they were ready.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about our experience here at the game. First, we need to start that Hello Kitty was at the game. There was a ton of merch. Hello Kitty was there. Emma Hayes was in a Hello Kitty hat. And you were hating on Hello Kitty like I've never seen you hate on something before. Why are you so upset by Hello Kitty?
I don't know. I just don't get it. I don't get why those people were wearing those stupid cardboard Hello Kitty headbands. I don't understand why Hello Kitty was on official U.S. Women's National Team gear that they were selling at the
They're
game.
still selling it online. I saw it today.
I don't get it.
I'm getting you it. That will be your birthday present.
Do not. I will burn it. I thought that was so dumb. And then Hello Kitty mascot was there and they introduced her and said she's a global icon. I just rolled my eyes.
She is a global icon.
I don't know why I was so mad by this, but no.
Our niece loves Hello Kitty. We got her a Hello Kitty. We got her a Hello Kitty pillow.
Okay,
this
that's
year.
fine. It's not even that I hate Hello Kitty, but why is Hello Kitty at soccer? I think the combination is what's throwing me off.
I think it's something for the kids.
Okay.
But I think the soccer is enough. Like, I don't think you need a gimmick.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just weird to me.
Maybe Hello Kitty paid lots of money to be on the U.S. Women's National Team
Maybe.
shirts. And I think we should honor that.
Okay.
Okay, also, big news for the night. On top of meeting Becky Sauerbrunn in the bathroom, we're sitting in the press box. We're watching in our seats. Out from the press store comes Emily Sonnet and Jane Campbell, and they just sit next to us and watch the game the entire time.
My eyes went so wide. I'm surprised they didn't fall out of my head. And I just looked at you like my brain left my body.
Oh, I know.
was like, wait, are they retired? What are they doing? I was so confused because I just was not expecting it. Seriously, I just could not form thoughts.
I really love Emily Sonnet, and to see her up close and then just be next to her and try to keep my cool. And, you know, we can't, as media, as press, you can't take pictures with people. No. That's not appropriate. So we just had to sit there. And I was like, I wish I could hear their conversation a little bit more, because that's really all I want. I just want to hear someone break down the game who knows it really, really well. I don't need to chat about it. I just want to absorb all that information. But that was so cool.
And soccer players are so tiny. And we said this even before, but seeing them even up close, soccer players just have a body type and they're just strong as hell.
Yep.
But tiny.
Yeah,
I'm
like
just
short.
How are you so tiny?
Yeah. Short, small frame. To see all the different body types for each sport is very interesting. But everyone was smaller than we thought. And very truthfully, the camera does make people look bigger. So to see people in real life, you're like, oh my gosh, you are a tiny little thing. I could put you in my pocket.
Yeah.
You also feel a lot of feelings when you watch the goalies on each team. We went in early and saw the goalies warm up, and you just were having so much FOMO. You really wanted to be out there.
So I played goalie in high school soccer, and I said to you, I used to love warming up for soccer games. I seriously loved being a goalie. If I didn't play basketball in college, I would have played soccer somewhere because I just loved soccer, and I was really sad to give up soccer after high school ended. But yeah, watching them, I was like, damn, I wish that was me out there.
Why did you choose basketball over soccer?
I just always loved basketball more.
Okay.
It was just always my main sport, but I loved soccer and softball too. I played all three sports my whole life. I even thought about, should I be a dual sport athlete in college? I thought about it, but I was like, basketball goes into soccer season and softball. And I was like, if I'm late, then I'm not going to play. So I just had to make a decision.
Got it. Then after the game, we went into the post-game presser, and every sport does it differently. So they had a mixed media room, which means the players come in one at a time, and then everyone stands around them and just peppers them with questions.
And they just stand there with a U.S. women's national team like background.
Yes.
But they're standing there and you just have to crowd around them.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
And there is a portion of that at the women's Final Four, but it's not like all of it.
It's different.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we got to interview Rose Lavelle, Kennedy Wesley, Lindsay Heaps, and Sophia Wilson.
There were a ton of press all surrounded. You did get, I think, 2 questions in during that time, 1 or 2.
Maybe one.
Which I was really proud of you. I was way too nervous in that setting. And we got to hear other people ask questions. Once again, that was such a good learning experience because if we do this again, now we know. It's like you're going to be in a room together and you just got to be ready and you just got to ask your question and people just go, go, go. And that's how it is.
Yeah, it was definitely a learning experience. And when we got down there, we were both like, okay, let's take like a little bit of a sit back approach, see how this works. And that seems to work for us.
Yes, I thought getting to see these players up close and personal was so cool. You have Sophia Wilson and Lindsay Heaps, who are both from Colorado and both huge players on the national team for years, along with Rose Lavelle. And just, I'm like, oh my God, how am I 2 feet away from you? This is insane. And
Sophia Wilson was so close to scoring in this match, and she's coming back and she hasn't scored yet. And you can see that it's coming. And she said a couple times, I'm still the same Soph. You are, and you're different, and that's okay. I hope she can begin to realize that. She talked a little bit about her perspective changing since now she's a mom, and she didn't really elaborate on it. And so my question was, how has your perspective shifted? And she was like, my priorities have shifted a little bit. What's important to me is now a little bit different. And she said, and I think it's healthier.
Yeah, she did say that, which I thought was cool. And we talk about on this podcast all the time how incredible women are. You had a baby not that long ago, and now you're just back to starting on the U.S. Women's National Team. And obviously you're being hard on yourself because you might not feel like you're your full self or you have a little rust. And that is okay. You are right there, girl, and you're going to be great. And we'll talk about a little bit the press conference with Emma Hayes. But Emma Hayes said that rust will fall off. You're right there. And also hearing her talk about being a mom was so cute. And then I saw her leave the locker room with her daughter in her hands and I melted. Like,
it's just such a cute baby.
So cute. And just to see her be a mom and you just played a game and now you're leaving the locker room with your child. Like, I just think, once again, women are amazing.
And I think being a mom is a strength, right? Like she said on the same Soph, and it's like, no, you're not. You're mom Soph now. And that's a strength. And the soccer will come back. The talent is there. It's going to take a little bit of time, but she played so incredibly well. it's a matter of time before
Yes.
that goal goes in. So let's get into this post-game presser now with Emma Hayes. So now we go into a more press conference room. Emma Hayes is at a table. We're down below.
And you have to raise your hand and someone brings a microphone. And that's what we're used to.
Yes.
So it was interesting that the player conversations were not that.
So one of the questions that was asked, not by us, but by a different member of the press, was none of your forwards scored tonight. It was a midfielder and then 2 defenders. What does that mean? I've always loved Emma Hayes. I really fell in love with her after this press conference. The way she talks about her players is nothing but positive.
Yep.
She was like, Trin and Soph didn't score tonight. They're still coming back a little bit. But she was like, we had 3 other people score. Imagine when they start scoring, like how incredible it's going to be. And not even a shadow of a doubt of like, they're not going to score. It was like, they're going to score eventually. And when they do, it's going to be awesome for us.
Yeah, she was almost turned off by the question because she was like, how dare you?
Yeah.
You said you fell in love with Emma. I absolutely did too, for talking so highly of her players. Also, when Sophia Wilson and Lindsay Heaps, who are from Colorado, came off the field during the game, the way she hugs her players and talks to them when they come out. I just think she has such a good relationship with her players, and the culture on that team, I think, is so strong. Other reasons I love her. Her accent is absolutely incredible.
It is incredible.
Talking to her in the press conference, I was like, no, I must live in the UK like yesterday. I need to move there right now because I just am obsessed. And the way she talks about 3-0, I just love the soccer terms. And it's not like this is the first time I ever heard it, but just listening to her talk, I'm like, fell into a trance. I was like, can you like be my aunt? I don't know. She's just so cool. And then talking about her little son, she's taking her son to Lavelle this week to see how much snow there is.
Which is not a lot, but.
And again, just her being a mom and such a good coach. I just think she's so smart. She's such a great, I don't know her personally, but she seems like a great person in terms of coaching and has a great relationship with her players. And I just think the team is, I remember watching, was it the Olympics a few years ago down the shore? And we were like, what is wrong with this team? And it was when that male coach, I don't even remember his name.
Flau'jae Antonovsky.
And I was like, what is happening? This is a completely different team now. And that is because of her.
I think her obsession with culture is what makes her such a good coach. And you can be a great coach who's focused on winning and you can get very, very far. But it is so clear that her focus is on culture and player development. And when you do that, you get the best out of people. 1, you set them up for success outside of soccer. 2, and then 3, you win.
Yep.
It's some of my favorite leaders to watch. I love when people focus on people's development as a human. And this is the culture. Here are the parameters of this culture. This is how we operate. Get on board or not. But if you want to be on this team, this is the culture we operate in. And it's so clear that that's what drives her.
Yeah, absolutely. I forget the exact question that was asked, but similar to what you just said. She was saying, of course I want to win every game. But right now, that's not what this is about. Because if I don't develop my players and give them an opportunity to play, then they're never going to be developed. Like, how do you raise a team and keep the team in a spot where you're dominant constantly if you're not developing the next string?
Exactly.
And that is just genius, and not everyone does it.
Yeah, and they're right now thinking about an arc, right? Like, they don't have to be playing their best right now, and they probably even shouldn't. They need to hit that arc for the World Cup coming up, and then they need to hit that arc again for the Olympics. Like, those are the things you're building for. I already felt this way, but after speaking to her, I was like, whoa, this is a leader. This person gets it. The U.S. women's national team is so lucky to have her.
Agree. So overall, it was a very cool night for us. Very cool experience. Absolutely loved it. Hope they come to Denver more. And the players liked playing Denver. They said this is a really special place to play for us. And it makes me even more excited for Lindsay Heaps to get to the Denver Summit ASAP. Cannot wait.
Which takes us right into what we're looking forward to this week. Danielle, what do you have?
The Denver Summit are finally coming back to town. They host the San Diego Wave this Saturday, April 25th at 8:45 p.m. Eastern on Ion. It will be at Dick's Sporting Good Park again, where we just were, and I am excited to be there in person and cheer them on. What are you looking forward to?
The PWHL regular season wraps up this week with the Toronto Scepters playing the Ottawa Charge on Saturday, April 25th at 2 p.m. Eastern on YouTube. There's actually 4 games that day, but I'm talking about that one because only the top 4 teams make it into the playoffs in the PWHL, and the Montreal Victoire, Boston Fleet, and Minnesota Frost are already locked in, so there's 1 spot open. Seattle and Vancouver are definitely out of playoff contention, but As of now, Toronto and Ottawa are still in, so it may come down to this game on the 25th. Go check it out.
That is it for this week. We will see you next week on Women's Sports Weekly. In the meantime, watch women's sports and share the podcast with your friends. Rate and subscribe to the pod on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you in the Les.